Well, if you would open your Bibles, 1 Chronicles chapter 19. 1 Chronicles chapter 19. This is the Old Testament now, not the New Testament. I didn't say 1 Corinthians. 1 Chronicles chapter 19. 1 Chronicles 19. You don't ever throw away the old just because you get the new. In fact, it is the old that helps us to understand the new. If you ever get some new stuff and you think that it's really new, ask somebody old. And they'll let you know that what comes around goes around, that there is really nothing new under the sun. It might be new to you, but that's why you have to ask somebody old, because they'll help you to understand it. And so it is a truth that the farther back that you look, the farther ahead that you're likely to see. And that's why I treasure wonderful treasures that God has given us in the Old Testament. You never throw away the Old Testament because you have the New Testament. It is the Old Testament that gives light and understanding to the New Testament. And one of the things that we discover is that human nature does not change. So human nature that was human nature in the Old Testament is the same human nature that we're struggling with today. And that's why we can learn things from the Old Testament that speak to us today in a wonderful way. 1 Chronicles chapter 19, verses 1 through 9, and then verse 19, notice the word of the Lord. It happened after this that Nahash, the king of the people of Ammon, died, and his son reigned in his place. And then David said, I will show kindness to Hanun, the son of Nahash, because his father showed kindness to me. And so David sent messengers to comfort him concerning his father. And David's servants came to Hanun in the land of the people of Ammon to comfort him. And the princes of the people of Ammon said to Hanun, do you think that David really honors your father because he has sent comforters to you? Did his servants not come to you to search and to overthrow and to spy out the land? And therefore Hanun took David's servant, shaved them, and cut off their garments in the middle at their buttocks, and sent them away. And then some went and told David about the men, and he sent to meet them, because the men were greatly ashamed. And the king said, wait at Jericho until your beards have grown, and then return. And when the people of Ammon saw that they had made themselves repulsive to David, Hanun, the son of Ammon, Haman and the people of Ammon sent 1,000 talents of silver to hire for themselves chariots and horsemen from Mesopotamia, from Syrian Maacah, and from Zobah. And they hired for themselves 32,000 chariots with the king of Maacah and his people, who came and encamped before Medeba. And the people of Ammon gathered together from their cities and came to battle. Now when David heard of it, he sent Joab and all the army of the mighty men. And then the people of Ammon came out and put themselves in battle array before the gate of the city, and the kings who had come were by themselves in the field. And then verse 19, the last verse in the chapter, when the servants of Hadadezer saw that they were defeated by Israel, they made peace with David and became his servants. So the Syrians were not willing to help the people of Ammon anymore. I want to talk today from the subject, reactions. Reactions. It is interesting here that Hanun, the son of Nahash, he is the king's son. The king is dead, and now his son is ruling and reigning in his place, and he has reacted poorly to David, who was honestly trying to be kind to him because Hanun's father had been kind to David. But he had people around him, princes around him, advisors, counselors around him who didn't understand David's heart, so they reacted out of their fear instead of responding to the truth of what was honestly happening. We could call this, in a certain sense of the word, here is the law of cause and effect. And because Hanun reacted poorly to what went on in his life, he caused a very, very disastrous war to ensue. The law of cause and effects basically says that for every action, there is an equal reaction. It basically says that every cause has its effect and every effect its cause. And it basically gives the idea that there is no such thing as chance. Even the French philosopher Voltaire said that words like luck and chance and coincidence are really invented to express the known effects of the unknown causes. Ralph Waldo Emerson said that shallow men believe in luck or in circumstance, but strong men believe in cause and effect. It was something that David did that then caused Hanan, the king's son, to react poorly. And my question to you today is, when things happen to you, are you reacting poorly to it or taking time to honestly respond to what happens in your life? You see, your perspective determines your reality. It determines your reality and your reaction. Your perspective, your perspective. Hanan saw this thing from a wrong perspective. He saw this thing based on suspicions that were in his own heart. And if you respond to people out of your perception, you're going to have a poor reaction to them, and cause trouble sometimes in your own marriages, in your own homes, on your own job. Somebody will do something, and then you are interpreting what they might have meant by it. I wonder what she meant by that. What is she looking at me for like that? I know she don't like me. And we're reacting to things that we may not necessarily know the truth about. A person could have a grimace on their face not because they don't like you, they could be in pain. You could be misunderstanding them. They could have just had a stroke. You don't know what the issue is. And if you make everything about you, it'll cause you to react poorly to things in the world. And this is what Hanan did, and started a war unnecessarily. He started a war unnecessarily because he responded poorly. I want you to take a look at this picture here. Look at this perspective here. Here's one man. He's on the island here. He sees a guy coming in the boat, and he's excited because he sees a boat. And look at the other guy who's in the boat. He sees a guy who's on the island. He's excited because he sees land. It just depends on where you are in life. It's amazing how you can have a little piece of something. You can see somebody else with something that you don't have, and you fall in love with what they have. And you don't really know that they're lusting after what you have. They want to trade places. Unto the guy who's on the boat. Now, that's not a real big piece of land, but it is land. He's stranded on the island, and see, he's looking at the man coming in the boat as a means of rescue. And the guy who's in the boat, maybe he's been drifting out at sea a long time. He's just looking, you know, when you've been on the water for a certain time, after a while, you just want to get on some land. You get on a cruise, and you've been on a cruise for about 7 days. You're ready to, to kiss the ground when you do get on solid ground. And so each one, it's just based on, your reaction is based on your perspective. Say perspective. It's based on your perspective. Now, here's the deal. It is hard to respond to truth when you have been reacting to facts. It is very hard to respond to truth when you have been reacting to facts. Have you ever noticed how men and women are just totally different? I mean, a woman will be standing in her closet, and she'll be looking in the closet, and she'll say, I don't have anything to wear. And a brother will be standing in his closet, and he'll say, I don't have anything to wear. And both statements is the same statement, but both of them have two different interpretations. When a woman is standing in her closet saying, I don't have anything to wear, she means I don't have anything new to wear. When a brother says, I don't have anything to wear, he means I don't have anything clean to wear. It's the same statement, but if you don't understand the source out of which it is coming, you will interpret it from your own perspective. Do you understand? Say perspective again. It just depends. You can have two people that get up in the morning. The optimist gets up in the morning, good morning, God. The pessimist gets up in the morning, he says, good God, morning. It's the same morning, and both people are getting up, but both of them have a different perspective of life. Your reaction to life is always based on your perspective. And Hanan, he had a poor perspective, and it caused a bad reaction. Poor perspectives cause bad reactions. Because he perceived David as wanting to come in and spy out the land so that he could overthrow him, that his father was dead, he reacted out of his perception of David, which was wrong. Not all perspectives are correct. You don't see things as they are, you see them as you are. So that's the way that we are. We don't see things the way they are, we see things the way that we are. So if we are conniving, we think that people are trying to pull the wool over our eyes. See, to the pure, all things are pure. But to him that is defiled, is like, what you trying to do? What you want? What you want from me? Oh, why you trying to be nice to me? Because you might know that when you are nice to people, you're trying to manipulate them out of something. There are some nice people that don't want anything from you. They were just being nice. They were just speaking to you. They weren't trying to holler at you to get your number. But you don't always see things the way that they are. You see things the way that you are. So isn't it interesting that a person who is used to being hurt in life, in relationships, they are more likely to remain in an unhealthy and an unhappy relationship, because that's their perspective. That's their perspective. And so Hanan, the king's son, you know what his name means? His name means enjoying favor. Hanan, the name means enjoying favor, or it means he that rests. You see, his daddy had built the kingdom, and his daddy had died. This boy had never worked a day in his life. So now, you know, he's extremely spoiled, he's insecure, and he's narcissistic. He thinks everything is about him. And so his reaction caused toward David, caused a disastrous, unnecessary war. It was unnecessary because he had a poor perception, what caused him to have a bad reaction. And you have to ask yourself sometimes, am I reacting poorly to somebody who is in my world because I'm perceiving them in a way that may not necessarily be them? Then on the other hand, you can be perceiving a person as a friend who might be an enemy. So you really have to have good perception. And oftentimes you need wise people around you so that you don't just live by the suspicions that you have based on your own narrow perspective. Because oftentimes your perspective is limited to your life experiences, and you might need somebody who's been around the block so that they can help you to have a balanced perspective. Touch your neighbor, say, I know the person who needs that.